Hi, welcome to the new moon in Sagittarius reading. My name is Betsy. Welcome to the Fearless Intuition channel. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you as a newbie. Please subscribe and share. Love to have you here. If you've been here for a while, thanks for the support. You can see that we've changed the channel back to Fearless Intuition after a couple of years of getting me into a really good place to be able to know that I can actually do this without having to fall off again. So it's really great to be here. The time right now is going by really, really fast. And we have Mercury retrograde just around the corner. Mercury will begin retrograde or station retrograde about 8 hours after the Sagittarius new moon. So everything's just like moving in ultra fast speed right now. It feels really like extra fast. Every single time I turn around, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already like the 5th. Oh my gosh, it's already the 7th. Oh my God. It's kind of shocking to me how fast everything is moving these days. So, hopefully you guys can get most of your shopping, if not all of it, done by Wednesday when Mercury does station retrograde. I feel like the last part of this year, these last weeks of the year, are really kind of a wrap up of everything that we've seen this year. Sorry, my lighting is in my glasses. It's like trying not to have that happen, but it's like shining right out of my glasses. But so this year, I've talked about it so much, about it feeling like it's been a wormhole, and just sort of going through a whole bunch of different parallel timelines after timeline after timeline after timeline over and over and over again. And like having to go back and it felt very jumpy. It felt like there were a whole bunch of timeline jumps and very wormhole-like this year. So I kind of almost see this Mercury retrograde as a blessing. I know everybody who is in the rush of like the holiday season. It's interesting because I just don't worry about how I'm going to buy everybody presents, and like if a certain thing is going to be available or if it's not, or whatever. Like it's just, that's not something I worry about anymore. So I don't really like hustle through the holidays anymore. And I understand why, because I used to, right? I actually used to do everything last minute. I was that person that would go shopping on like the 23rd or Christmas Eve. I would get all my shopping done in like 2 days before Christmas. That was always me. Or I just like ordered everything online. And you can do that, just expect for delays, anytime you order something, especially online when it's Mercury retrograde, you can definitely expect delays in the packaging or like receiving the packaging, stuff like that. So just be cautious of those things. Leave room for error at the end of this year. I feel like we are sort of coming into a time of peace this week, these last couple of days, and this week leading up to the new moon in Sagittarius. We've had some really great aspects. We've had, Venus trine Saturn, Venus moving into Scorpio and trine Saturn, Mercury trine Jupiter retrograde. We'll have that again on the 18th after Mercury retrogrades. We'll have that Mercury trine Jupiter retrograde. And just really great aspects to wrap your year up, and really great aspects to like start planning for the new year and helping yourself to get ahead for the new year. Hold on one second. It's driving me nuts, you guys. I think I've sort of figured it out, but I think it's just going to have to drive me crazy because there's no way to get rid of that like extra glare from my glasses. So excuse me. So yeah, so we've got some like really nice transits to work with this December. And then the last couple of days, like the day after Christmas, we'll have the Cancer full moon. So it's just really a time to like wrap the energy up and kind of like take a deep breath, And this Sagittarius new moon, what I really love about it is that it is one of the best moons that we've had in a while. Like we've had eclipse season and we've had some really crappy moons that were like square Uranus or like just some really malefic like moons recently. And they just haven't been fun. And this one is not like that. This one is much more open and receptive and just like ready for change and ready for expansion. And it feels good. It really does. It feels really, really good. And I'm excited for it, not just because I'm a Sagittarius moon. So this is my new moon for the year. But not just because of that, because I mean, just the excitement of starting a whole new story and starting a whole new, moving into the 2024 Gregorian calendar year is, it's after like such a really off and interesting and curious and weird experience kind of year. And I know I'm not the only person that can say that. Like, we've had some really strange years lately, and this one kind of tops some of them because it was just sort of I was shocked by a lot of things that occurred that I had to witness this year. I was shocked and I was also pleasantly surprised. Like, let's put it was just such a paradox. It was so wild. So yes, the Sagittarius new moon is going to be great. And I was even looking at the Sagittarius full moon for in Gemini season in 2024, in May of 2024. I was looking at it yesterday, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a really cool Sagittarius full moon. It's 6 months from now, right? And that's why I'm talking about it, because it's the cycle. It's the cycle of the new moon here, and then we have the full moon. And, that full moon next May will have Venus conjunct Jupiter. We'll have Jupiter sextile Neptune. We will have Venus move into Gemini. And there was one other thing that was like really auspicious and great about that Sagittarius full moon. So whatever it is that you want to start right now, or whatever it is that you are starting, I feel like there's sort of a crescendo of activity that's going to happen to whatever it is that's going on right now. And during that full moon, you're either going to recognize whether it's going to continue working and you can keep expanding on it, or if it's something that sort of needs to fall by the wayside, so you can start something fresh and start something new, or shift and change some things, right? But it feels very much like life altering circumstances. So whatever is brand new right now, whatever's starting right now is kind of starting you off on a whole new timeline. And so pay attention to this next 6 months and how these things work for you or don't work for you, and see how that comes into fruition. Astrology is all about patterns. And so that's what astrologers do. We pay attention to like what was happening 6 months ago, or whatever, and we see the pattern in all of that and the recognition. So see what it looks like for the themes in your life where Sagittarius is in your chart as well. Before we take a look at the chart, I do want to just drop a few announcements real quick. My partner started the Wild Love Paradise Foundation earlier this year, for me particularly, but we also help others through that foundation pay their bills when they're not able to pay their bills, if it's an emergency, temporary service, things like that. Because like we've been through the GoFundMe stuff, and we've been through having, to deal with fees and just like fraudulent things and, stuff. It was just really strange. So we've been through all of that. And so we want to be able to help people without having to go through those kind of stuff. I have some surgeries coming up at the end of December and in January. So I'm going to have my calendar closed from December 20th until February 1st. So if you could help a girl out, I'm going to need a little bit of help from the community during that time, because I probably won't be able to work as much as I would like to. I mean, everybody knows me. I'm still going to get work done. I'm still going to get things out and do stuff, but I won't be able to like load myself down as much as I would normally like to. So I need help from the community. So if this holiday season you have $1, $5, $10, and you want to donate to the Wildlife Paradise Foundation, the information is in the description box. Also, all of the products on the Wildlife Paradise website and the Love and Science website go to the Wildlife Paradise Foundation. That will help me be able to pay my bills when I'm not able to work down the road. And these are surgeries that, you know, on this cancer journey, they're just things that I have to do to be able to help my mobility. And, you know, I'm not going to get into specifics because it's a very private thing, but, you know, these are surgeries that are going to help keep me going longer, and they're necessary. So that's why I ask for help from the community during these times, because, you know, like I just, sometimes you just got to ask for a little assistance in life. So here I am. So, and it, you know, I'm not, if you can't do it, you can't do it. Well wishes, prayers, all of those things, those are also, of course, always welcome. But if you can, the information is in the description box. I also have my calendar open until December 20th. Everything in my calendar and website until it is full in December, till December 20th is 40% off. So if you would like to get a reading with me, my calendar will be closed until February. So 40% off will help a girl out and will also get you a really awesome reading. Let's take a look at the calendar or the chart for the Sagittarius. Whoops. Here we go. There we are. All right. So, when I took off, so like, let's take these off first and look at what this looks like without the asteroids. Okay. So we see the Sagittarius new moon over here is at 20 degrees and 40 seconds. And there is a trine, 3-degree trine to the north node. And there's a 4-degree square to Neptune from the moon. We also have, there's just, and, you know, Mercury is just coming off of the trine to Jupiter just a couple of days, but there's no like really poignant, like this is just a new moon. And you know, guys know that every new moon that we have is a moon cazimi. Yes, it is a moon cazimi because the moon goes into the heart of the sun. So yeah, that's pretty cool to like learn little things like that. So anyways, so this, we also have Mars. There's like a 2-degree trine to Chiron. And so there's no like exact aspects happening with this new moon. So when that's not happening, first we really want to look at the archetype. Come on, move. Okay. But also I want to look at the asteroids. So I picked up, we've got Vesta, we've got Juno, we've got Ceres, and we've got Pallas down here. Now Pallas is conjunct Venus. Love that. This feels like there's a lot of relational stuff. There's a lot of relationship stuff going on right now, which really goes with the theme of what happened of this year, with all of the Venetian relationship themed things that happened, Venus, you know, retrograde in Leo. So this feels very much like it's relational, like there's a lot of relationship stuff happening, and this is one of them. Pallas is where we really, you know, is the goddess of war, that's Pallas Athena, the daughter of Ares. And having Pallas conjunct Venus in a lot of ways can help us to work better together in relationships and actually have those conversations and work through things. We could also have really big egos in relationships and try and like pump ourselves up and make ourselves, you know, bigger and better within them. So we have that. We have Pallas conjunct Venus, we have Juno trine Uranus, and Juno is, this is all about the relationship contract that we have with other people. And Juno trine Uranus is an excellent and amazing time for really positive changes in relationships and really positive outlooks in relationships, and the shifting of good things. All relationships have to evolve, and when we get into relationships, we have contracts. We have like unspoken contracts with each other. Sometimes they are spoken contracts. This is what you're going to do in the relationship. This is what I'm going to do. But we also have unspoken stuff, like who's taking the trash out, who does the dishes, do we both do the dishes, do we both cook, who does the cleaning, who does the money, stuff like that, those things, right? And that stuff has to evolve, and that has to shift, and it has to change, especially if it's a working relationship. So if it's like a business partnership, those things have to shift and change as well. And then we have Vesta trine Saturn, and this is an amazing trine for possibility and opportunity, and really being able to have the balance between what you desire and what your passions are versus responsibility, and what you got to do to, what are your responsibilities that you have to have in order for you to have certain passions and desires. Some things, like people want to do hobbies and stuff, and some things they cost money, right? So we have to be aware of the responsibilities we have in life, paying our bills. If everybody just did their hobby every day and their passions every day, and they weren't like paying, we didn't have to deal with money, that would be one thing, right? But there's still always going to be a balance between being responsible and just doing whatever it is that you want to do all of the time, right? There always has to be that moderation balance there. And this new moon is showing us that as well. And so then we come to the archetype, right? We come to the archetype of Sagittarius, and what Sagittarius represents. Sagittarius is the great explorer. Sagittarius will go to the ends of the earth to find the truth. And it, is the theme, really, the theme of Sagittarius, in so many ways, is going the distance and being able to see the bigger picture. And oftentimes a Sagittarius won't, they can see the perspective of other people, and they can, how do I want to put that? They can see the perspective of other people, and they can admire it and even respect it in some ways. But when it comes down to it, a Sagittarius's viewpoint is very much based in their belief and their truth. And so with this new moon, this really feels like an opportunity to do something different and do something new. With a different perspective, with allowing yourself to see things from a different perspective. And because there are so many things that are here that when it comes with the asteroids, when it comes to relationships and relating to other people, there could be a lot of collaboration. And, one of the coolest things that you can do in life as a human is to learn how to have relationships, healthy relationships with other people, because we don't really learn how to do that, especially in this day and age. Relationships and family and community has become so distorted. It's really like a me. Look at me. Like, I just want, it's a very individualistic, self-gratification society that we live in. Like, I'm not trying to like bash on everybody in the community, because not everybody's like that, but we really have shifted what it looks like to take care of each other. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way that each generation was parented, right? And so as we get older, our beliefs change, and we fall into different perspectives, and, allowing ourselves to see things from new perspectives and other people's perspectives can often give us a knowledge, a boost, and help us move forward and push forward. The Sabian symbol for this Sagittarius new moon that is happening on Tuesday, December 12th at 4:31 p.m. Mountain Time. I forgot to tell you guys that. So it's happening on Tuesday, December 12th, 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So it'll be 6:30 p.m. Eastern and 3:31 p.m. Pacific. The Sabian symbol is Sagittarius 21 degrees, a child and a dog with borrowed eyeglasses. And the theme is scrutiny. And really what we're looking at is being able to see things from a different perspective to be able to find a new opportunity. And that's this whole moon in a nutshell. Being able to see things from a different perspective in order to find other opportunities, and not being closed-minded and not being shallow about it, and not being, frustrated with, how do I want to put this? Frustrated with what the world is doing. This is about focusing on what you need to do and not talking yourself out of it. In a big way, not talking yourself out of it. So let's look at some cards. I have a new oracle deck I'm using. We have retired the surrender cards for now. I'm going to grab an oracle deck from The Sacred Traveler. Oracle cards by Denise Lynn. So for the Sagittarius new moon, what is it that we need to know? Oh, there we go. 2. We got 2 of them. Reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly. Like that one. That looks like there's like a bubble with a castle in it on the path. We were just talking about like being on the path, being, Sagittarius being the great archer and being on the path and being on the journey, and always searching for truth, always looking for that truth. And then we have impasse. Reflect and redirect your energy. So both of these have, both of these are incredibly poignant in reminding you what to do on your journey during this time. Reaching the destination and impasse is reminding you that every single time you think that you might know exactly what it is that you're meant to be doing, and something shifts, instead of projecting that out onto everybody all the time, it's so much easier for you to shift and turn and look at yourself and be like, what is it about this situation that I need to allow myself to look at? The stagnancy happens when we don't allow ourselves to see around and through a problem, right? The reflection of a problem, instead of looking at it dead on and thinking that you're at the end of a road, and reminding yourself that your light is the light that is shining on the road for you to see. It's like the hermit card, right? You don't need any other light except for the light that you have within yourself in order for you to see. So if you feel like you're up against this like brick wall and you're not able to get anywhere, right? That's what this looks like, right? You're up against a brick wall and you can't get anywhere else. Just stop and go within and be like, what is it that I need to see? What is it that I need to know? What am I missing here? What is it that I'm missing here? And a lot of times it's a belief system that needs to change. A lot of times it's just an idea that you had in your mind that things had to look a certain way for them to work out the way that you wanted it to. And remember that that is how your light shines through, when you remind yourself of those truths. Okay. Sagittarius new moon. All right, we get the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Oh, look at that. We've got 3 people here and the King of Cups. So I feel like this is collaboration time. We have the Queen of Cups, we have the Queen of Wands, and we have the King of Cups. I feel like this is a time to collaborate and come together. Almost feels it almost feels like it's a reunion in some way. Oh, wow. Okay. And each of these people, there's a really big shift that's coming. Each of these people got a major arcana that came out on top of them. So I'm really talking here about ourselves in different perspectives, in a lot of different perspectives. The Queen of Cups is somebody who's extremely intuitive, and she's also pretty emotional, a pretty emotional person. But her intuition comes from feeling things. Her intuition comes from the feminine gut knowing, right? And then the Queen of Wands is the fire, the fiery. A lot of that Queen of Wands energy comes more from the masculine third eye knowing, psychic knowing. The Queen of Wands is very confident. She knows what she wants. She goes after what she wants. She rarely holds herself back from going after what she wants. And the King of Cups is, the masculine emotion, right? It's that it's also a third eye, right? The masculine intuitive third eye. But each of these people got a major arcana, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. So for this Sagittarius new moon, we are finding perspective. The Queen of Cups is finding perspective by pausing and reflecting. This is very much an impasse kind of thing, right? Where the Hanged Man will put himself upside down in order to see things from a different perspective. He won't stay there for very long, but there's this pause. So I do feel like just for a moment, you're going to want to pause yourself and reflect before you start moving forward. The pause is actually creating some balance, because once you have that pause and reflection, we have Justice on the Queen of Wands. So I feel like there's some kind of balance that's occurring with this Justice card. And I also feel like this is that Pallas conjunct Venus, this Pallas conjunct Venus, because in a lot of ways, it's, really having to stand up for yourself. If there are certain things that are happening in partnerships and happening in relationships that are not benefiting you, but it's benefiting everybody else, now's the time for you to stand up and speak up about that. And then we have the Fool on the King of Cups. So the Fool is about having faith to start over and to start new. And I really love that there are different people here showing the different sides of humanity in all sorts of ways, right? And I also love how each of them are recognizing what they have to do in order to reach the destination, right? This is not about, it's not about destination addiction. It's about the journey along the way and having faith in yourself to do it. So there's the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Cups. So in a big way, like exactly, like the shift in relationships and the shift in how we are relating to each other is actually happening. I know that a lot of people don't really see it, but I can see a lot of divine unions coming together in the last couple of years in order to raise the vibration of the planet. I know that sounds really hippie woo-woo, but at the same time, it's necessary because love has become so distorted. It's necessary to bring unconditional love back. It's necessary for us to be able to see each other differently. And this, I hope that this also includes peace longer in the Middle East, honestly. I hope it, especially because today was the first day of Hanukkah. happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate Hanukkah. You know, just really wanting to have that peace. And I really hope that that's what this impasse is, right? That's what I feel. I really hope that changing the way that we see each other and relationally seeing each other is going to help in the long run. Come check us out on Patreon as well. Me and the other Love and Science teachers. We're still doing the Love and Science Patreon, even though we're back to Fearless Intuition here. The Love and Science YouTube channel will be published soon. Please stay tuned for those details. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye.